Today we're keeping our focus on education. Contestants from the 2018 National Maths and Science Quiz winning school, St. Peter's Senior High School, raising concerns about the lack of practical approach in the teaching and learning of subjects in Ghana. They had impressed the entire country in the competitive event, which featured the country's top schools. Just in case you forgot, here are excerpts. Sincere apologies for that. We don't have audio on that. Right now, let's try to understand what's the missing link in the education has been. I have one of them in the studio who went on the international scene to compete. They weren't very lucky there. Kisi Anokweku is one of the candidates. He made his school proud. His colleague in that contest, and Yeboah Tichi Kevin, will also be joining us via Skype as we have this conversation. You're welcome.
Thank you very
How
much.
are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
So, tell us about your trip. First of all, how has it been for you since the science and maths quiz?
Well, it's been cool.
Cool? It's cool,
yeah.
Not an understatement.
Well, there's been times when I have people seeing me and recognizing me outside. There's been times when I've seen people and they've recognized me outside.
And they've given you fans?
Yes.
And that must certainly be exciting.
Very much.
So what did they say? I mean, I watched it, but I couldn't recognize you if I met you in town. Yeah. So maybe it's a school uniform that makes you. So is it when you're wearing the school uniform that they give you those fans, or?
No. They actually recognize me.
They do? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. And how does that feel? Good?
It feels very good.
It certainly feels good.
Yes.
So tell us about this competition that you went for, the international competition that you're just coming from.
Okay, it's an international physics Olympiad.
Okay, and international physics Olympiad.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's organized every year. Okay, and this year it was held in Portugal, Lisbon.
Okay.
Yes. So before the Olympiad, we had to take a series of tests before 5 students from Ghana were selected to participate.
So how did they select those 5 schools? Where did they select everybody who participated in the National Science and Maths Quiz?
No.
Okay.
We received an invitation from our school, and someone came to organize an exam for us.
Okay.
Okay. And based on that exam, a number of us were selected. About 30 or so.
30 of you?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we came to University of Ghana to write another final exam before 5 of us were selected to participate.
Okay. Yes. So you went to Portugal? Is that Portugal?
Please.
You went to Portugal, you had this competition, and unfortunately for you, you lost. That must have been terribly, bad. A terribly bad feeling for you.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Why do you think you actually raised concerns? You and your other colleagues that went are raising concerns. You think that it's because we don't practicalize science and maths in this country? That's why you lost. You think so for sure? Why?
I think so. This is because we realized that the other countries, the other contestants, they are like prepared, they are trained for a very long time. We spoke to some of them and they had about 2 years of training or
2 years of training?
Before
and you had
came.
what? How long?
Less than 1 year of training.
You have less than 1 year?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. 1 year, 2 years. But go on and explain to me why you think that, and why you're calling on the president to make the teaching and learning of science and maths more practical.
I believe that we engaged in a physics competition, and physics is supposed to be an experimental science. Okay. It's supposed to be hands-on learning rather than just reading books and then knowing stuff.
So what the difference between you and the other students, you think, is that you had read all the books?
Yes.
But when you went there, the people you are competing with, they had not just read the books, they had actually practiced it. So they done some demonstrations and everything, so they had a better understanding.
They know the things from experience. We know the things because we've read them.
Oh,
yes.
I can really understand you, and this is really interesting. But let me also say that Nana Yeboah Isiama, who is also a chemistry and integrated science tutor, is he a tutor?
Who?
Isiama Yeboah, is he a tutor or he's right?
Yeah.
So he was part of the teachers who coached the 2018 Maths and Science Revelation quiz. He joins us on the line. Hello. Hello, Mr. Yeboah. Okay, we don't have him at the moment. So go ahead and tell me, how did you know? How were you able to tell that the difference between your performance and the performance of the other people you're competing with was the practical knowledge that they had? How did you know?
The exam was divided into two areas. That's the theoretical paper and then the experimental paper. And we took the experimental paper first before the theoretical paper. And we realized that when we were taking the experimental paper, especially for me, I realized that I wasn't really comfortable with some of the instruments that they were using.
Okay.
Were
they new to you?
Yeah.
Oh.
We had to use lasers for something, and I had never used them before.
Oh,
so yeah.
That must be bad. That must be bad. But we have one of the teachers who coached you guys to go and do this on the line, Mr. Yeboah Isiama, a chemistry and integrated science tutor. Sir, do I have you now? Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, hello.
Can you hear me? Okay, we're having some interference there, some bad line there. So go ahead and tell me. So they gave you a laser, you had to do something with it. You've never seen it before?
No.
And then what else?
And then there was this paper transistor that we had to work with. And I had never seen that one too before. Oh. So that was when I was actually learning how to use it.
But what you had read in the books, I mean, you could not apply?
No.
You couldn't?
No.
So what did you do?
I just read the instructions and tried to follow along, but yeah, you can't compare to someone who actually knows what he's doing.
But the other people you are competing with, they knew what to do with. They had their act together. They knew what to do with it.
Based on the scores that they had at the end of the competition, I believe they knew what they were doing. Yeah.
Let's see if I can get Mr. Yeboah Isiama back on the line. Sir, do I have you there?
Yes, hello.
Do you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now loud and clear.
Very well. It's quite sad that your student went on the international stage and couldn't perform. But they've raised a very fundamental concern about what you're teaching them in school. There's a lot of book, studies. It appears a lot of theory, a lot of reading, and physics, for example, that he's saying requires a lot of demonstrations. Is there something the school can do about this?
About our physics?
Hello?
I talk about physics in general.
I'm talking about practicalizing science and maths. Basically, that's the concern.
You see, the problem we are having as a school or as a state in general is the resource material for teaching science.
Okay.
Yes, because science, as I know, is a very practical subject. And so if you teach it abstract, it makes it very difficult for most of the students to understand.
So that is the problem. And from what you're saying, it's like you're familiar with this particular problem. What is it that can be done about it? And quickly.
We as teachers, there's little we can do, but it is the responsibility of Ghana through the Ministry of Education and the government to provide the necessary materials for teaching and learning of science. Always it is just long talk. We will do this, we will do that. We are transforming education to technology. But come to the ground and see. Our labs are nothing to write about. You have nothing to use to teach. You are teaching about 60 students, and you have only 5 virtual stands. You have 10, 20 virtual stands. How do you handle such a situation? Meanwhile, you have a certain trouble to complete.
So you agree? So you agree with? I have one of the contestants here. You agree with his position and their position that because they did not have some of these things, that's why they lost.
Exactly. In fact, it's true. I will support the person 100%.
What are the immediate? Okay, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you need to get these materials there adequately enough for them to try their hands on so many things, for them to get the concept very clear. Because science is nothing you can learn in abstract in books. It's not a reading subject. It's a practical subject.
Right.
It's a practical-based subject, for that matter.
Okay.
You need to go to a lot of activities to grasp the concept. If we are able to do that as a nation, we will produce a lot of brilliant science and math students.
I have no doubt about that at all. I have no doubt about that. But
yes,
finally,
even with this little material that we had, look at the kind of performance that was exhibited by our contestants. In fact, all the schools.
Right.
They are using at least what they have at their disposal to produce their best they have.
Right. So finally, before I let you go, let me find out from you what you think the immediate steps, the immediate actions that are supposed to be taken. Where do we even start from?
In fact, the immediate action to be taken is that the government should make it a policy of providing every school with the basic science materials, the apparatus, the chemicals we need to carry our practicals.
Okay.
If those things are there, even teaching the core, the integrated science, you can still take the students through these practical activities and they will get it.
All right.
Because the chemicals are very expensive, the materials are very expensive. I cannot buy them with my money. My HOD cannot buy them. You make requisition to the headmaster, the headmaster said there's no money.
Okay.
And so you are stuck. You have nothing to do.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for your time this afternoon. Nana Isiama is a science, chemistry and integrated science teacher there at WAS, West Africa Senior High School. So before I let you go, what I've heard the teacher who's also a coach say the same things that you're saying. What do you think are the steps the government should take? You've been meeting with the president?
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell him?
Yes.
You told him. What was his response?
He told me it was a very good point I had raised and that efforts were going to be put into place to make sure that science education in Ghana is made more practical by the implementation and the provision of instruments, apparatus, and so on. Yeah.
Was that okay for you? The answer the president gave. Did it give you confidence? Did it give you satisfaction? Were you okay with that?
I believe it's a first step. Everything begins with steps. So I mean, it's one step forward and it's a good one. So.
That's a politician's answer, but that's okay. It's okay to have that. Finally, when you finish the National Science and Maths quiz, were you made any promises for how you're going to continue school at the university level, and are those promises being kept?
Yes.
They're being kept?
Yes, please.
You're sure?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I say a very big thanks to you for coming. You have something else to say, it seems.
Yeah, I would like to acknowledge Primetime Ghana Limited for they are the organizers of the National Science and Math Quiz. And I also like to say a very big thank you to Dr. Nanama Brown. She was the one who organized the entire Physics Olympiad, the exam that we had to take before we were selected.
For the conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'd like to say a very big thank you to her. And we also like to say that this kind of competition should be made more public, and because most people don't know about International Physics Olympiad in Ghana.
I didn't know about it.
Most people don't know about it. And
so you're hoping that there'll come a time where a lot of people know a lot about it. Next year, are you going next year?
No, I'm not going next year.
You're not going next year? No, okay, because then you'd be in university?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, but who's funding your university education, though?
My parents.
Your parents are?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are processes being undertaken for scholarships.
Okay. So you're looking ahead to that. Do you have any final? No, thank yous. You've done that already.
Yeah.
Any final words for people in senior high school, people who are studying science, people who are afraid of science and maths like me?
I like to say that Science is not difficult. It requires time, it requires effort, but the main thing you need to have in order to do well is consistency. It's not a one-day thing where you just, open the books and then everything is there.
Okay.
It takes time and effort and a lot of work as well. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of wise words. Thank you very much for coming, and I wish you all the best. It's so sad that you didn't win, but it's good because you are still a national champion, okay? So keep it up, and hopefully we'll get you the, what's it called, apparatus, right? We'll get you the apparatus, the laser and all of those things. Yeah, we'll get you, don't worry. All right, so it's all about the National Science and Maths Quiz, the champions. They didn't make it on the international scene, but they've come back and they're not keeping quiet about it. They're indeed telling the presidency that this is what we need to do, practicalize science and maths education and let it be more easier for people because they've got the brains, they just need the material.